Hello everyone. Today I am made to wonder like I've never wondered before. Why is it that I cannot find one Jehovah's Witness who is comfortable enough to discuss the subject of the faithful and discreet slave? Outside of this Jehovah's Witness I debated years ago, the conversation became so nonsensical, I just stopped it. He was the only Jehovah's Witness who felt brave enough to take on the doctrine of the faithful and discreet slave. And I mention it because I have found that that is the only thing that it appears that Jehovah's Witnesses cannot defend. If you speak about the sordid history of the organization with its many changes in doctrine, the many false prophecies, Jehovah's Witnesses believe that they can justify that they can defend that. They will come to you and tell you, oh, nobody's perfect, and the light of truth gets brighter. There is hardly anything that you can think of that a Jehovah's Witness does not feel bold enough to try to defend except the doctrine of the faithful and discreet slave. And that is why I keep saying on this channel to ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that that is the angle from which you need to take on your Jehovah's Witness friends and relatives. Because it is only through their inability to defend that doctrine that you have, well, not only through, but it's one of a very strong way that you can get these people to think, because it is easy for them to put up a bold face when they are with you. But when they lie in their beds, they are alone, even if they are married and have their wife or their husband beside them. They have an alone moment when they are thinking in their beds. And it is, I believe, that in helping them to see that there is no such thing as any faithful and discreet slave in the Watchtower organization that Jesus has appointed, that you have a very good opportunity of helping them to wake up. Mark you, I'm not saying it's easy, because the brainwashing is so deep that it is not easy. I mentioned that because I thought that Jehovah's Witnesses would have found the behavior of their brothers and sisters unacceptable, indefensible, when I called headquarters and asked a simple question: who is the president of Watchtower? And so a few Jehovah's Witnesses tried to justify it. And some of the comments were just so silly. But one man somehow felt that he had the ability to defend the behavior of his colleagues. And this one man is Kenneth King.
No one is trying to hide or tell you who the president of the Watchtower Society is.
You can say that all you want. Everybody can see what happened when I made the call. The video is there. Tell that to people watching that video that what you said a while ago is true. If you believe that to be true, then bask in your delusion all you want, Mr. King.
Cognitive dissonance at its worst. I guess he can tell everyone not to believe their lying ears.
As the brother said, it is public knowledge on our website.
As the brother said, it is public knowledge on our website. I asked the brother, where on the website can I find it? Since it is such public knowledge on the website, why couldn't he tell me where to go to find it? I made that call to headquarters after searching the website and could not find it. Even after it took me days after making that call to finally stumble on to the page again, because I felt pretty sure that I read somewhere at jw.org that the president is Ciranco. But when I did the search, I just kept finding information about past presidents. So how is it public knowledge at the website? But Jehovah's Witnesses do not know. As Kenneth King further confirmed, let's continue with his defense, or should I say his attempted defense of the indefensible.
But to tell you the truth, the average Jehovah's Witness does not know who the president is because it is of little importance to us. We do not get into creature worship or idolizing man.
It is vital that we recognize the faithful slave. Our spiritual health and our relationship with God depend on this channel.
If you do not get into worshiping and idolizing men, what is this?
We fully trust and support the governing body.
Jehovah's Witnesses fully epitomize cognitive dissonance.
We do not get into creature worship or idolizing man.
Attending the memorial will be a special opportunity to demonstrate full trust and support for the anointed remnant. Exposing ourselves to this kind of misinformation can create doubts and undermine our complete trust in the governing body.
If you do not get into worshiping and idolizing men, to what was this gentleman responding when he said that?
So, whom do you trust? You fully trust in Jehovah, Jesus, and the faithful slave.
If you do not understand that trusting a man on the same level that you trust God is to idolize the man, I can't help you. So you may stay there in your deliberate delusion, Kenneth King. You are deluded because you choose to be deluded, Kenneth King. This is the very thing that I've been speaking about consistently on this channel, the idolizing of the governing body. So you can go on chatting rubbish, trying to deny what you all do. You idolize the governing body. So know that you could not, know that you've been embarrassed in public because I made that call public. With egg on your face, you come here with your lying lip that you do not idolize men. Why do you people lie so much? Is it a part of your DNA? Not only that. When the Watchtower speaks about President Russell, is that idolizing him? When they speak of President France, is that idolizing him? How does it become idolizing to say who the president is? You people and your nonsensical attempts to justify the unjustifiable. What is wrong with you people? Do you realize how you are embarrassing yourselves? It would have been better, Kenneth King, if you had just left this alone and just let it die. Because you are adding insult to injury. You continued.
I was told that having a corporation, you have to have a president. So whoever he is, it is in name only. He has no power as one would think a president has.
What would it take to educate the staff at Bethel about that? So that when someone calls and asks, who is the president? They can say the president is Robert Ciranco. But please allow us to explain that he has no power. He is only there as a figure because we are required to have a president. Isn't a religious organization to be built on honesty and transparency? This is the behavior of a secret society. That is the point that I was making in the video. Very easy. Who is your president? I called the SDA church. Who is the president? Just like that. Whether that person has no power or not, They know who the president is. And there was absolutely no reason for the Jehovah's Witnesses to be behaving the way they are, the way they behaved, if this were a transparent organization.
And I personally do not know who the president is, nor do I care.
Well, finally, you have made a statement that I can identify with. Years ago, I could identify all the officers at my local conference, all of them. Today, I only know who the president of my conference is, my local conference. I can't tell you who the secretary is. I can't tell you who the Sabbath school director is. I can't tell you who the family. I just don't care. The organization needs to go on, and these offices are important. All that matters to me is that they are functioning. I don't need to know who is in charge of what, so I can identify with that. But you feeling that way is no excuse for headquarters not to be able to say and to behave the way they do. I don't know who the family life director at my conference is, but if someone were to pick up the phone and call and ask who the person is, the staff would be able to answer. And this is not, I said it in the video that, and I need to make further clarification of it, because someone called me out on it. Because I said this is not about Watchtower versus SDA. The point I was making is the purpose of the call was not to contrast the SDA church with the Watchtower organization. The purpose of the call was to show how the Watchtower organization is when someone calls. But to make the point abundantly clear, to make it clear that it is not normal, I chose to call another headquarter, another global church headquarter. And because I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, it was the easiest one, because I would have known exactly where to find the number and to make the call. All right? So that was the purpose of the comparison, just to establish, not to establish the difference with the Watchtower and the SDA church, but to establish that the behavior at world headquarters of Watchtower was not normal. That is the point. So once again, it is quite fine for you as a member not to care. It's really not important. It really is not important to anybody's salvation who the president of their organization is. But the staff should know. And if they do not know, tell me, I don't know. And if you say it is at the website and I ask what page at the website, tell me.
And the difference between how a Seventh-day Adventist and a Jehovah's Witness answers the phone is that the Seventh-day Adventists are not under attack as God's people are. There are not constant videos being made attacking SDA. And so there is no need to be cautious to people who may try to manipulate what we may say or answer to in a personal question.
When did the question about the president of a religious organization become a personal question?
Nonsense. Utter nonsense. Someone calls, my name is Winston, I'm calling from Jamaica. May I ask who your president is? What is there in that constitutes an attack? What is there in that to even remind you of being attacked? What is there in the question who your president is? No matter how persecuted you are, no matter how your track record of attack, someone calling to ask who the president is nothing for you to be paranoid about. Except, of course, you are a secret society.
And so there is no need to be cautious to people who may try to manipulate what we may say or answer to in a personal question.
So if someone calls and asks who is the president, you have to fear that the person is going to manipulate the... I'm not sure which is worse, the paranoia of the staff or this stupid attempt by Kenneth King to justify it. All you're doing, Kenneth King, is trying to come up with something, but it is falling really flat. You are embarrassing yourself as the staff at headquarters did.
Jehovah's Witnesses are always under scrutiny to what we say and do, and our enemies are waiting for us to slip up in any way. Which is why we need to be cautious. Just as Winston has exploited the non-answer given about the president.
How have I exploited the non-answer given? All I did was exposed what happened. Why did I choose to record the call? I chose to record the call because I suspected that something isn't quite right. I am at jw.org trying to find out who the president is, and I can't find the information. What kind of a religious organization is that? Christians do not operate in this secretive environment. A charitable organization needs to be transparent, needs to be open. And if you are this secretive about as simple a question as who the president of the organization is, something is wrong. And I particularly did this to look up on the matter, the subject of accountability. Because the organization is now under scrutiny. The organization is now under investigation by a grand jury in the state of Pennsylvania, the very state in which the organization was born. People are looking into the shunning policy. The government of Norway has decided to stop giving you state benefits. And I suspected that the organization is trying, that the leadership is trying to hide. That was the reason I decided to look at who the accountable officers are. And I suspected, based on the difficulty of finding the information at the website, that I would have been given a runaround if I called headquarters. And I wanted to prove it. And it was easily proven. I have not exploited anything. Had they answered the very simple question, I would have had nothing to expose. I expose what the organization is about. I exposed the paranoia that the staff displayed, the very same paranoia that Kenneth King is now coming here to confirm. Let's take his final statement and be done with this nonsense.
They knew that he was up to something. As it turned out, it was.
You have no idea how revealing that last sentence is. For you to believe that someone calling to ask who the president is up to something, there is a reason for that. If you are clean and someone calls to ask who is your president, you have nothing to worry about. But if you are a dirty organization, if you are a sinful organization, if you know that you have evil as your DNA, then you have to wonder if someone is up to something when they call to ask who is your president. You have revealed a lot right there, Kenneth King. And I'm not even going to go to the Adventist church. I am pretty confident that if you call the Baptist church and ask, you will get an easy answer. If you call a Pentecostal church and ask, you will get an easy answer. If you call a Methodist church, an Anglican church and ask, you will get an easy answer. Because they are not as corrupt and as evil as the Watchtower organization. That is why you have to be so suspicious of people calling to find out who is accountable in this organization. Thanks for that, Kenneth King. You have revealed very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching this video. Have yourselves a wonderful day.
May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all.